What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today this is in the comments where I go through my comments and respond to a lot of the comments and stuff like that. And y'all, this is me letting y'all drive the show. So again, I'm going to break this down, go through my comments, and see what people are talking about, just so I can help keep y'all on the edge of everything. And I'll finish off with what my thoughts on Carson Wentz becoming a starter. We already knew that, it being announced today, and we'll just go from there. This is your opportunity to drive the show. So I'm gonna start at the top. Awesomeness Sports, awesome video. Thanks, bro. I really appreciate that. You've been somebody who's been coming to the to my channel more recently, and I just appreciate all the love and the support. This YouTube thing ain't easy, so thank you a whole lot. Next one is Washington Football Enjoyer, active O-line age. Tackle Charles Leno 31, guard Andrew Norwood 31, center Wes Schweitzer 29, guard Trey Turner 29. Surprising because he acts like he plays like he's 52. Tackle Cornelius Lucas 31, center Nick Martin 29, and Sam Cosme is 23. He's the youngest guy on the line. So that actually averages out to our offensive line being 30 years old. That is very old for offensive line. And what happened to the young guys we drafted this past in the draft? We had Chris Paul, and I forgot the it was one of the guys that I put up there. I cannot think of his name. But where are these guys at? Like, why are these guys not on the roster? Like, why are they not getting the opportunity? Sadiq Charles, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it's a concussion or what's going on, but he's been very injury prone. We're not getting out of this offensive line what we really need. This line has been very terrible, and basically it's aging. And remember, I said this in the last video, Ron said that one of his mistakes was letting that offensive line in Carolina get too old. And it seems to me that he's actually repeating himself. Next is from my man, Patrick Lugo. Heineke played well in the first half. This team is not made to come from behind. Unfortunately, dominating the time of possession and not getting points. It is a huge problem. The same thing happened in the two Giants games. Yeah, this team doesn't play well from behind, but that's technically not really true, because there's been a couple games where at the end of the game, Taylor Heineke has actually came back and actually sat up there and got touchdowns or got something that was close to the go-ahead touchdown. I think that he actually has like 7 comebacks or something like that, because I remember early in the season they talked about the fact of him actually having winning drives coming back down from behind. So in reality, that's not really the case. There's been times where they had, but to add to that, they have to be within range. And not only that, it has to be down to the 2-minute warning where Taylor actually puts in his best work during that time. So in reality, that's kind of true, but not really true, because Taylor has found a way to get them down there and actually score on some of the last drives. And have actually come close to has actually either won games or have come close to winning games. So I can understand your reasoning there, but it's kind of like a twofold type of thing. Dominating the time of possession, yeah, we're one of the top teams that do it. I think it's us and the 49ers are actually the 2 top teams when it comes to dominating time of possession. So again, and not getting points, I get it, but again, that's more on Scott Turner, because again, he has to, again, when you're down there in the red zone, again, the fact that you don't have a scheme, a play where all your 6'5" and up guys are all in at the same time, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And then to have a play where you take out Brian Robinson, who's basically moving the pile when it comes to running the ball, and put in Antonio Gibson, and then Antonio Gibson does this little miniature jump that doesn't go anywhere. That's a Scott Turner issue. That's not a Taylor Heineke issue, or that's not a time of possession issue, or or anything like that. That's a play design issue. So again, that is something that is huge. Next is Eric Jessup. Every word you said was 100% fact. So again, he's one that feels just like I do that the fix was in for Taylor Heineke. There were a lot of plays in this game that Taylor missed on early in the season, and because of that, we starting to see that. And because of that, you know, you can kind of tell that they kind of were making sure that these were, because for some reason they remembered the plays he was missing on. And sure enough, the touchdown in the back of the end zone, he missed that play a couple of times this year. The long bomb to Terry McLaurin. Remember, he threw that bomb, he threw that bomb, but it wasn't Terry McLaurin on the route. It was actually Curtis Samuel on the route. So again, that you can tell that there were plays that they purposely put in hopes that Taylor would be making mistakes. They also made it a point of having Jahan Dotson more of a target in the game. And to be quite honest, if you watched it and you paid attention, it was kind of bizarre. Not only that, when Carson came in, they went to a short passing game. Again, why can't you do that for Taylor? I don't know, but that's what they did. But again, my man Eric Jessup, he feels that the fix was in as well. Look, Clarence Fields Jr., look, man, the decision is not just about this game. That's true. It's not just about this game. But also understand this, that Carson Wentz early on, let's talk about some of the games that he was in early on, because I think that a lot of people had this idea that all of a sudden we're going to be scoring all these points when Carson Wentz comes in. If y'all remember in these games, the first game, Jacksonville, we scored 28 points. The second game, we scored 27 points. Then we saw the Eagles scored 8 points. Then we went against the Cowboys and scored 10 points. Then we went against the Titans and scored 17 points. And then we saw the Chicago Bears and only scored 12 points. So again, these are again a charted idea of how many times Carson Wentz has played. And on top of that, they weren't scoring points when he was in. And because not only that, at the time he was in, he was on pace to be the most sacked quarterback in league history. Like, I don't think that a lot of people understand that. Yes, this line is trash, but guess what? When Carson Wentz holds the ball, you can see that that there's a lot of things that he's making mistakes on. Not only that, he's not a mobile guy. You need somebody mobile behind the line that's not blocking that well. Now, I will say this. If by chance Carson Wentz comes in and all of a sudden this line begins to block like we've never seen them block, then for me, I really will feel that the fix is more than enough in. And again, when you got a quarterback who goes 5-3, you got to still give him the opportunity to do more. But again, like I said, not my decision. Carson Wentz is going to be the guy. I knew that. I told you once he got in the game, he was going to be the guy going forward. So again, I understand it's not just one game, but at the same time, it's not like the games that we saw Carson in was any better. Next is my man Young Mid. Let's go Carson. Hey, I mean, I will say this. You're probably one of the people who actually, you feel just like my little brother felt. Me and my little brother got into it over Christmas because of the fact that we were going back and forth about Carson Wentz. Sometimes you need more than just arm strength. But again, I understand this as well because, again, we need Carson to actually go out there and do something so this team can still make the playoffs. Understand, I'm not for not making the playoffs. I'm for us making the playoffs no matter who the quarterback is. The problem I have is that I fear that we won't be as successful as we want to be, and that we might be in a situation where we have to pay Carson too much money just to stay. So that's me. My man Tizzy Bang, short passes don't work well with Heineke, but defenses don't have to worry about getting beat deep like Carson can. Even though teams may not have to be concerned about the deep pass per se from Taylor Heineke, he's actually been doing very well throwing the ball deep. He hasn't been as accurate as you want him to be, but in San Fran, he was very accurate. And not only that, he made plays that we had not seen him make since he's been here. Those were some fantastic throws he was making in that San Fran game. Now, I will say this. You said that the short passing game doesn't work with Taylor. That's actually not true, because when they played, I think it was it Atlanta? I think it might have been Atlanta. But they had the slant routes going. And they had comebacks and curls and everything going like that. They actually that's still part of the short passing game. And they had Antonio Gibson coming out the backfield, coming across the field, catching passes. That's still a part of the short passing game. And that game is very dangerous for a guy that defenses have to worry about because they think he might possibly run the ball. And because of that right there is enough to get Heineke as much as you want. Not only that, it also helps with the deeper routes. Because again, if people start being concerned about these short routes and these slants and everything like that, eventually that moves the defense up, and then that becomes a bigger problem down the line when it comes to throwing the ball deep, and the safety may not be there. So again, short passes can work with Taylor Heineke because we actually saw them win in a game where he was using slants and everything, and we had banged the walls about that. Where was these slants? Where was these slants the whole season? So again, it does work with Taylor Heineke. Tizzy Bang, nah bro, it's not sabotage. That's just how bad Turner and Ron are. O-line being complete, but is not helping. Ron is respected, but purely as a head coach, he sucks. No awareness at all. Look, I've been banging that door for the longest since Ron's first got here. I told you his messaging was very inconsistent, and it's still inconsistent. He says one thing, but he doesn't really mean it. Remember, earlier on, when Carson first came off the list and stuff like that, and they said he was on his way back, he said that, well, I'm going to choose which guy I'm going to go with, and that's going to be the guy the rest of the way. And then, boom, here we are now. Well, I'm going with the guy, and we want to see Carson, and it gives us an opportunity to see Carson. At this point, Ron is just nothing more than lip service. He don't mean nothing he say. So, again, for all y'all who want consistent messaging from Ron, you're wasting your time. So, this O-line, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I mean, I just told you. My man earlier sat up there and talked about the fact of how the O-line was aging. Washington Football Enjoyer. Yeah, the O-line is aging. It's not looking better. And yeah, it's not going to be better. So with that, it is what it is. Cy Kai Buddy. We all knew Taylor Heineke was on a short leash, guys. I really hope we see Hal play a little bit, but either way, we got to draft 2 offensive line players in the upcoming 2023 draft, point blank. But on another note, did you see how well Wentz moved the ball when he came in? He's got a rocket for an arm. Yeah, but that was also garbage time. We need more than just offensive linemen, and the problem that we're going to have is that if we make the playoffs, we're going to possibly be drafting around maybe close to the mid-20s, which means that all the top offensive linemen are going to be gone. That's for certain. This is a okay offensive line group, but the group that's the biggest group this year is the tight ends. So, because there aren't a lot of wide receivers in this group. There are some running backs in this group, but it's mainly quarterbacks and tight ends. So, to be quite honest, it's not bad to pick an offensive lineman. The problem is that to get a top level guy, we might have to be picking up a little bit higher. And you're talking about in the first 3 rounds, we're going to be picking at the bottom of the first 3 rounds. And in fact, the 3rd round, we won't even have a pick because of Carson Wentz. So, yeah, yeah, that won't work for us. So, we need a lot of people. And to be quite honest, I don't think that this upcoming draft is the only way we're going to be able to do it. Kalon Meekins. I've been saying this earlier. It doesn't make sense. Again, somebody else who agrees that the fix was in. So yeah, I mean, there were a lot of things running Brian Robinson directly up the middle of the gaps. That made no sense. But again, I don't think they thought that Taylor Heinicke was going to be throwing the ball that well. I think that they really thought he was going to have problems, and he didn't. But hey, it is what it is, man. Yeah, you're with me. I think the sabotage was in. Your sabotage theory, Dante Johnson says, your sabotage theory sounds crazy, bro. My mans, you forgot that Ron threw Carson under the bus when the whole team wasn't playing well and the coaches weren't good in the beginning of the year. He wanted Carson back. He would have started him at Houston. FYI, Heinicke ain't it. Our fans are delusional thinking he is. I don't think any of the fans really think that Taylor Heinicke is, well, I'm not going to say that. There are some fans that think that Taylor Heinicke is the solution. For me, Taylor Heinicke is the solution this year. In the future, we have to draft a quarterback. There's no doubt about that. Sabotage, once you look at the plays and stuff like that, again, Scott called plays that Taylor was missing on early in the season, or that they felt was lucky routes that Taylor hit on. Taylor was playing very well in the San Francisco game, and I don't think they thought he was going to do that well. And because of that, I really do feel that they set up there and sabotaged him. So, I mean, let me know what you think about that, because I do feel that the fix was in. Mass Collector is one of the guys that he's always been contributing. He's been following me for a long time, and I appreciate him. Johnson is to Wentz as Flutie is to Heinicke. Just ask the old Buffalo Bills owner what his biggest regret is. Dang. Yeah. I've been using this comparison the whole time. If you saw the Buffalo Bills when Doug Flutie was in, Doug Flutie is a lot like Taylor Heinicke. Doug Flutie wasn't the strongest arm guy. He wasn't the tallest of stature guy or anything like that. And what happened is that following season, that very next season, Buffalo went with Rob Johnson the very next year. Buffalo went out and went 4-7 in the beginning. Doug Flutie had to come in, and I think he ended up going, I think it was 4-1 or 5-1 or something like that. But they missed the playoffs due to the fact that the ownership set up there and believed in Rob Johnson, and they shouldn't have. And because of that, man, like I said, that was just something huge. And Mass Collector, you've been a guy who's been with me on this one, and yeah, it just reminds me of that a lot. Merle Locklear. Wentz first throw in, it sails over the receiver while he is open, same as his first 6 games, right? After that, everything was short passes, getting the ball out quick. Hell yes, they played the offense against Taylor, long passes down the field, knowing he has no time behind that line. Wentz has the same arm strength to go deep, but can't make the throws to give him short passes. Taylor don't have the same arm strength, and they are calling plays to go deep downfield. Yes, something don't seem right. Again, another person that feels that the fix was in, because it goes back to what I said. You can't sit up here and expect for a guy to go deep if all this time everybody's been talking about how his arm isn't that strong. So if his arm isn't that strong, then guess what? At the end of the day, you got to give this man an opportunity to be more than what you're trying for him to be. And because of that, you got to find a way to sit up there and make him successful. And to me, that's why Scott Turner fails as a play caller, because again, he has no personnel awareness. Richard Smolik, I think that's how you say your name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, O-line sucks. Again, Washington football enjoyer, I think that's what it was. He gave the age of the offensive line. It's an old line, and like I said again, it's just one of those things that it doesn't make sense. Again, Ron lied to us. You have a strong Stephen Miles. You have a strong case. I can't deny these facts. It's not a conspiracy when you can clearly see it. Again, another person that feels the fix is in. It's just a lot of the plays just didn't make sense, and it's hard to believe something when you see that there are ongoing issues over and over again. And I just don't know. I honestly feel that they set it up. I think they thought Taylor was going to have a worse game than he did, and he shocked everybody. And that's why they kept trying to get him to throw further and further down the field. And what they weren't expecting was for him to be completing these passes. So I think that really shocked them. Amari and Ayana. The 49ers is better than Washington, period. Not a fan of offensive looks against the Niners defense. Stop with the cube crap. Meaning, like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations where the 49ers are better than Washington. It's without a doubt. The quarterback thing is a problem, because no matter what you talk about, the quarterback situation is going to be a problem for a while, because there is no one who's trying to make it better. Ron has been here for a while, and he's bungled 2 major spots on this team. That's quarterback and linebacker. And he hasn't found the solution at either spot. Cole Holcomb is great, but he's not the guy you want in the middle. You need somebody that's impactful in the middle. And Cole Holcomb, as good as he is, he's not that. So, again, yeah, the 49ers, hands down, is far, far superior to Washington, but they also got the better play caller, too. So that's something you have to put into the bank as well. Corey Massa. 49ers hit hard, man. They gave up. I don't think they gave up. I don't think it was that they gave up. I just think that when it comes down to it, this line is just an awful offensive line, and it's not going to get any better. And until we understand that this offensive line is what it is, we're going to keep having our problems with this. So, yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a disaster as long as we don't get this offensive line together. Cedric Moore, my man Cedric, man, I love Cedric. Cedric is a guy that he's one of the guys that I really like, because him and I can go back and forth, and there's never any harsh feelings or anything like that. He reminds me of my little brother. It's like we can debate, but we're not mad during the debate. We just want to understand each other's view. So Cedric say they couldn't pull him. This is sad, bro. Taylor can't run short passes because they sit on the routes because they know he has a noodle arm. They can't sit on Wentz because he can make all the throws. Taylor doesn't have a noodle arm, and you know that. But I can understand the theory of them sitting on the short pass. The problem is that we saw in a game, and I said this earlier, we saw in a game where Taylor actually sat up there and made plays. He made plays with the slants and stuff like that. They actually won. And I want to say it was the Atlanta game. They actually won that game using a short passing game. And to be quite honest, they could probably do it again. The issue that I have is that they're not doing it well to make it better for him. So again, it is what it is, but I do feel he can run the short passes, and he doesn't have a noodle arm, Cedric. Come on, man. Stop being petty like that. You being real petty right now. Real petty. Said again. Why would Ron sell the game? Come on, big dog. You better than this. Why would Ron sell the game? Because again, he traded for a $28 million quarterback. So he has no choice but to sit up here and sell the game. He needed Taylor to look bad so he can validate why he made the trade. Because again, we're still giving up a 3rd round pick no matter what, because we made the trade for Carson. We gave up a lot to get Carson. And because of that, if Carson isn't successful here, then all of a sudden Ron has a major problem on his hands. And that is where he has made his mistake. Ron has made the mistake in this, and because he's made the mistake, that it is what it is. So with that, that's what the problem is for that whole situation. Kenny Davis. Laugh out loud. Everybody did run up the line on the first play. I mean, again, we saw what happened. They pinned their ears back. They got up there as soon as Carson got in the game. This is not a joke, people. They knew what they were doing. They were not going to let Carson Wentz beat them in any way, shape, form, or manner. They knew all they had to do was run up there. They had already stopped the run the whole game. All they were going to do was sit up there and just keep running at Carson Wentz, because they knew eventually what was going to happen was that they were eventually going to beat him and get to him and see him do nothing but throw picks and make mistakes. They knew that, and every team after this knows this too about Carson Wentz. So trust and believe it was going to happen. Next is my man, DeMilo Gar. Again, constant contributor. Wow. Yeah, bruh. Yeah. I mean, I think the fix was in. I don't think that there was something that they were hiding. I think they did this on purpose. Kenny Davis again. We need Sean Payton. We need Sean Payton. We need Sean Payton at all costs. Hey, bruh. We get Sean Payton. Understand that I would want us to draft a quarterback in the 1st round. Sean Payton is a quarterback guru. One thing about me, I'm a staunch person on getting a quarterback and matching him with a guy who knows how to basically mold quarterbacks. This coaching staff doesn't have that guy on staff. And for me, this is very, very valuable. We need somebody to actually sit up there and play a huge role in this whole thing, especially when you're talking about a guy like Sean Payton. Without a shadow of a doubt, Sean Payton would be a very good head coach to come here. Not only that, we know that he would be getting the best out of whatever quarterback is actually our guy. My man, and here's my last comment, my man YT Rennie, huge contributor of the show. Love this guy. This O-line, how do we not game plan for a boss like bro? What? Like bro what? And Taylor, he has some flashes, but he can't seem to cut out the turnovers. Was not that impressed with Wentz. He won't have a good day behind this O-line, but oh well. Go Commanders. Let me know your thought. Good video and clean cut, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I try my best to keep my hair cut, but it is what it is. When you talk about it again, this goes back to our play caller. He's not doing a fantastic job of getting things done. And because of that, this is why we sitting up in here in a situation where no matter what goes on, we're always in a situation where we're going to have a problem. And until that gets corrected, I don't know where we go at. But yeah, this is the show where we went into the comments, answered everybody's comments. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Again, Carson has been announced as the starter. We knew that was coming. I feel that Ron has given Carson all the power in his free agency quest. So we will definitely see that. I think that he probably screwed up a little bit with Taylor Heineke. Again, I'll let y'all talk about that. Other than that, man, this has been my man. This has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.